Welcome to today's webinar on holiday activities in Brightspace. We're excited to have everyone join us. I'm seeing a couple people joining still, but in the meantime, I do want to make a couple of things just to note. For one, the Zoom Q&A box is open for any questions that you may have throughout today's session. The chat at the beginning will be reserved for any important links that my team and I would like to send to you, but later on it will be open for the discussion. A recording of this session and the slide deck will be posted in Brightspace community once we are finished. And then we'll also post any of those Q&As that I mentioned that we've received with links to additional resources that may be helpful. And you'll find all of that on Brightspace community as well. So let's get started with today's agenda. We'll start with some quick introductions. From there, we'll share an overview of some of the tools that we plan to use today. Next, we'll have a demo in the platform. And to finish off, we'll host a networking session and have time for a Q&A. So a little bit about us. My name is Victoria Fulhenshaw, and I'm an adoption specialist here at D2L. I have my colleagues Renata and Catherine here with me today, and they will be answering any questions that you may have in the Q&A chat. Before we get too far, I would like to take a moment to clarify some terms. For those of you that have attended past sessions, these may sound similar to you, but for those who are new, you may have heard of D2L or Brightspace before. To clarify, D2L is the company that myself, Catherine, and Renata work for, whereas Brightspace is the product that we make, a learning management system. And depending on where you work, your district may call Brightspace something like eClass, iLearn NYC, or the BLE. Although some of your districts have different names for their learning management system, if you're here, they should all refer to Brightspace. In addition, our Brightspace community is a hub of resources where you can connect with other Brightspace users and seek out additional information on Brightspace. You can find a link to join the K-12 Educators Community Group in the chat. All right, so for those who are less familiar with these tools, here's a quick introduction before we jump into the platform itself. So the course banner, I'd like to start there. It's a great place to personalize your course or display information. It also gives you the opportunity to add color to your course, and you'll get to see that in just a moment. Our activity feed, which many of you said you're interested in, is the perfect place to share messages and assignments. You can also provide links to materials and external resources using the activity feed. Our awards are an engaging way to add meaning and value to learner achievements in your course. They can be used to document non-graded learning, encourage participation, and create gamified learning paths. And last but not least, we have content. In content, students can navigate through their course materials, such as lessons, assignments, quizzes, and more. So let's move on to our learning objectives for today. First, we'll customize our course banner and homepage widgets. Then we'll create engaging content using templates as a starting point. And last, we'll explore the learning experience from the student perspective. So now that we've had that quick overview, let's go ahead and get into Brightspace. And I've seen many of you go ahead and answer that poll, so what I'm going to do is X out of that if it hasn't been already. So I am in my course homepage right now. To start, there are a few quick and easy things that I can do to liven up my homepage for the holidays. The first, like I mentioned during our slides, is to edit our customizable banner. To do this, you'll click on the ellipses in the top right corner of your banner. You can see my banner right here. And from here, you can choose to change your image, the text, or completely remove your banner. So let's change this image to be more seasonal. We have the option to upload our own image, or you can search within our own image repository. For today, I'm going to search for snow. So I personally think I like this image better, so let's use this one for our course. You'll see my snowflake has been added. My banner has changed color a little bit, but I'd also like to change my welcome message. I like how it's personalized to fit my name. It says, "Hi, Victoria." So let's kind of keep that theme, but let's change it a little bit. So we'll go back to our ellipses and customize our banner text this time. So the way that it has my first name is something called replace string. You can see that here. If you're interested in learning more about replace strings or curious to see what other options there are, you can click this button here, and there will be different options here available for you. But I do like the "Hi Victoria," "Hi Ashley," "Hi Stephen," but I just want to make it a little bit more wintry. So what I'm going to do, just add "Welcome to our winter wonderland" and press save. Doesn't our homepage already look just a little bit more festive? So the idea for the season is I'd like my students to learn more about traditions from various holidays. And the idea is that students will be able to complete these activities at their own pace and earn awards as they learn more. So as we scroll down our homepage, we've added our banner, but you can also see an activity feed post that I have pinned here for students to see. And this lets them know about the holiday unit and encourages them to share their favorite holiday tradition in the activity feed comments. You can see that Sammy here, his family strings popcorn together to put on their Christmas tree. But to generate some additional excitement for these activities, I'd also like to make those awards that I mentioned available for students to see right from the homepage. So to do this, let's add our awards widget. You can add widgets to your homepage by scrolling down to the very bottom of your page. I have a lot of activity feed posts here. You can click on this ellipses and select Edit this homepage. There's a lot you can do from this page to edit your homepage, and there will be resources in the slides to help guide you through these. But for now, I'd like to focus on adding that awards widget. So once we scroll down here, you can see our kind of layout for our homepage, and there's an Add Widgets button. From here, you can see that there are actually 2 pages worth of widgets. So to make our search a little bit easier, I'm going to use our search bar here. And I already have award typed in here, but type in award and search. It came up with 2 different widgets. For the purposes of today, I'd like to use our awards widget. It does come included with Brightspace, so everybody should have access to that within their widgets. But you click that and press add. Once we add our widget, we're able to move it around where we'd like it on our homepage. I don't exactly want it top all the way across, so you could move it down here, underneath activity feed, you could move it to the side, wherever you'd like it. I'd like it to be right up top next to my teacher bio. And from here, you'll just press save and close. So now you can see our available awards on the side here. We have our Christmas Cheer Champion. We also have some other awards like our Counting Pro or Happy Birthday Award. But all of our awards are available here for students to be able to see. So now let's see what students are earning their awards for. To do this, we'll go into our content area from our nav bar. In this course, my content area is renamed My Work. So I have many units in this course, and we're going to focus on the holidays around the world unit. You can see that we have some pages as well as some folders nested underneath this unit. Let's explore these. To start, we have a basic introductory page that has tidbits of information about 4 different holidays. One perk of this page is that the information is easy to separate, but it's fairly bland otherwise. So let's look at another example with the same information. You'll see that I actually have this one hidden from students, and I made a 2.0 version. When creating this page, I started by using a template to help organize my content. This template gave me the ability to create an accordion for each of the holidays. And it even prompted me to add a photo at the top of my page. I'll show you an example of how to use a template to create a content page soon. The next activity that students would come to is a checklist. This checklist will give students the ability to choose what holidays they want to learn from, clicking these buttons here. And we'll see what that looks like from the student perspective soon. But as we take a look into our holiday folders, you'll see that they all look very similar. They have that starting page. They have some information with just some tidbits about traditions, a video, and an activity that leads them to their portfolio. And they all have that same kind of format. To get this, I did start by using a template. So now that you've seen what our folders look like, let's create a page together in our Hanukkah folder. Minimize these as I go. You can see I just have my discussion here. So let's go ahead and add a new page. We'll press Create New and click Page. To start, we'll add one of those templates that we were talking about earlier. Your templates might look a little bit different than mine, but I'm going to be using one that comes included with Brightspace. So to add a template, you'll just click our Select Template button here. And to go along with the rest of ours, I'd like to use the Elements template. And I'll make this a bit larger so that way we can see it better. You can see that we've been given an outline of how to start our content page. And I have my information that I'd like to add to my page written down already. So I'll just be copying and pasting as we go. But to start, let's go ahead and change our title. And add a little bit of information on our holiday. And you can see here, not only is this just kind of a place setter for your information, it also tells you how to copy and paste those specific elements from the page and add them to other pages as well. So this is fantastic information to help you learn how to do it. I'd also like to get rid of this section. I don't think it's something that I need for my particular page, but I would like to do our ordered list. So let's add those Hanukkah traditions. And I think I liked how that was a different header before. So let's make this heading 2. I like the green color. And we'll just list out our items. You can type in here directly, but since I do have this already written down, it's just a little quicker to copy and paste. And I have my 3 traditions right now, but I don't need this 4th one. So what I can do is go ahead and erase. You can also erase kind of these directions as well right here. Right? And then you can see that there's additional examples that you can do here. So there's a lead text option, a block quote, a jumbotron. I won't be using any of these today in this particular content page, so I can just copy and erase. These templates aren't meant for you to use every single option within them, but they're a great starting point for you to create your content page however you'd like to add it. So you can have multiple callouts, whether they're icon callouts or standard. You can have multiple tables or column panels. But these are just a fantastic starting point. I did have a video in each of mine after my holiday traditions were listed, so let's go ahead and add that as well. To add a YouTube video, you should be able to go into our Insert Stuff button. And from there, there's lots of different options. If you already have a YouTube video in mind, you can enter that embed code there and it'll go directly there. But for now, I'm just going to type in Hanukkah for Kids. I know exactly which one I want to put in there, but I just don't quite have it ready. Here it is. And insert. And also like it to be just in the middle. There's lots of different options you can do to kind of format your page too. And let's add their portfolio activity here as this call out. I'm going to have them draw or create a digital version of a menorah, label each candle for the 8 nights, and write a word or short sentence about something that they feel grateful for. And from here, I think that's the end of my content page. So what I'm going to do is just erase everything else in the template. I just don't need them for today. So let's do a quick overview of it and make sure that we changed everything. Oh, we forgot to change our picture. So let's go ahead and do that. I always save the picture for last because it's one of my favorites. So you'll click Insert Image, and you can add an image from your computer or a URL. So I have my Hanukkah banner here. And for this one, this image is decorative, so you can click here, but if it's not, there's a pop-up box for you to add alternative text as well. All right, so I have my Hanukkah banner, and I'm going to delete that old one as well. All right, so our template page looks good for Hanukkah. And the last thing that I need to do, which probably should have been the first thing that I should have done, is title our page. So always be sure to do that. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of pages that say untitled. And we'll press save and close. So you can see our page starts with our image and moves on to say asking what is Hanukkah, mentioning some of those traditions, has our video and our activity. I would like to add it before our discussion, so let's move that right up here. And one last thing to note here, you can see that it has an eyeball with a line crossed through it. This just means that this activity is hidden from students. This happens automatically when you make content, so once you're ready to have it visible for students, you can just click this toggle right here. You might also notice that there are some eye icons with some gears behind them as well on our folders. These are release conditions, and those are just showing that these folders are only visible if certain conditions are met. We have this set up so that way when students click on the checklist, they will only see the check or the folders that are connected with that checklist item. All right. So now that we've created our content, I think that it's ready to have our student go through it. So right now I am logged in as Lily Michaels. Let's have Lily go to her primary course. Right away, you can see that Lily has her new welcome banner. It welcomes her by name. Hi, Lily. Welcome to our winter wonderland. From there, she can scroll down and she can see her activity feed post that has been penned, just highlighting that those courses are available or that unit. Lily is interested in sharing one of her holiday traditions, so she'll just type a comment right in here underneath Sammy's. For her and her family like to stay up all night on Christmas Eve so they can eat and open presents as soon as the clock strikes midnight. She can also see all of those available awards. So she's already earned this Counting Pro and Got It All Done This Week award, but she also has the option to add that to win the Christmas Cheer Champion, the Lucky Lantern Award, and so on. So let's win her some awards. She'll go into her content page. And you can see these same units available for her. Holidays around the world. But you'll see the difference is that she only has that 2.0 page available because the other one was hidden from students. And all of those folders with the certain specific holidays aren't there either. This is because she hasn't completed the checklist yet. So she's first prompted to learn a little bit more about these specific holidays, get an idea as to which holiday she might be interested in learning even further about. And then she has her checklist. From here, it has some additional information on each of the holidays, or it can be the same information from that intro page, just in case she skipped it. We know no students ever skip work, but just in case, it's always good to have that information there. And I think we're going to learn a bit about Lunar New Year. Let's press save. So from here, I can go back into my content. And she'll see that a new folder has popped up. She has her page here to learn more about the traditions, watch a quick video, and she's prompted to draw her own red envelope as well. And once she completes this discussion, she should be able to earn her award. So for this one, it is, if you could make a wish for the new year, what would it be and why would it be important to you? Lily, straight from here, can click open discussion and start a new thread. She can type in her answer to the discussion here, and you can see that the prompt is still right up top for her. And the last thing is to write her subject. And she will post. So you can see Lily's post is here. Right now, nobody has viewed it, nobody has replied to it, but there is the option for students to reply to other folks in the class discussion posts as well. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but once she goes to her homepage, it should pop up. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. When I was doing it earlier, it took about 30 seconds to a minute. So it's not quite instant gratification, but let's refresh and see if it's there. There we are. All right, she has earned her Lucky Lantern Award. So there are no limits to how many awards she can earn. If she wants to go back and do that checklist again, learn more about the holiday traditions of Christmas or Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, she can do those as well and earn those awards in addition. One additional choice that you could do is you could make a holiday hero award or a champion award. So if they do every single one, they get an ultimate award as well. But for this time, I didn't want to add that as well, just to save us a little bit of time. So now that we've seen the platform, let's talk a little bit about our learning objectives, and then I'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek into what our session next month is going to be about as well. So as a quick review of our learning objectives, we customized our course banner and homepage widgets. We created engaging content using built-in templates. And last, we explored the learning experience from the student perspective. We also invite you to join the D2L Champions program. Being a champion gives you the opportunity to receive points for attending webinars like this, submitting blog posts, and even giving us reviews online. You can then redeem these points for gift cards and additional D2L services. I saw that Catherine has added the link in the chat, so feel free to click on that link, or once you receive the slide deck, you can use that link as well. We also have that K-12 educators community group that we mentioned earlier. You can join that to connect with folks from other school districts that use Brightspace. And you can ask questions, post some discussions, and get ideas on new ways to use the platform. You can join using the link in the chat as well, or by scanning the QR code on the screen. So this may have been your first webinar with us, but we do have many more to come. Here's a look at the topics that we have planned through February. But if you're wanting to learn more about awards, our session on creating meaningful feedback next month is something that you won't want to miss. And I noticed that a couple of people were asking about awards. Awards are something that are available to everyone. They come built in with Brightspace as well. And there are some awards that are kind of already built out. There are awards that you can build yourself. So that Lucky Lantern Award or the Christmas Cheer Champion, those are ones that I created. But we can review those awards more in depth next month, or talk a little bit more about them during the Q&A time if we have time as well. But for these Bright Ideas D2L webinar series coming up, you can find links to these sessions in Brightspace community. So now that you've seen the platform, let's learn about how you and other teachers are using Brightspace across your school districts. So we have a few discussion ideas for you to talk through. You can type these into the chat or raise your hand to come off mute. But the first is to share how you're incorporating holidays in your classroom, whether it's through Brightspace or not. Are there any specific holiday or seasonal activities that you found particularly successful in boosting student participation? And then what stood out to you today that you'd like to implement in your classroom? I know today was a lot of kind of overview of these specific tools, but if you're curious to learn more about certain ones, there's no harm in sharing. We might be able to even cover them a little bit more in future sessions. So we encourage you to raise your hand through Zoom to come off mute. Otherwise, the chat is now open for you to type out any responses that you may have. But please reserve any questions to the Q&A so we can answer those in a timely manner. And I also invite, I know we have quite a few D2Lers that joined after we started that were teachers as well. So if anyone here would also like to share kind of how they've used or celebrated holidays within their classroom. Would love to hear all of the different stories as well. In the meantime, I am seeing a few folks asking questions. So it does seem like the Q&A is jumping in. Or, oh, actually, real quick before I get to that Q&A, one Claire shared that the template stood out. She's just starting to use Brightspace and can see templates saving a lot of time. Yes, I definitely agree with that, Claire. I always have trouble just kind of finding a place to start. And those templates, even though the content isn't necessarily there, you are the content expert and you can go and use those to just kind of format your pages the way that you'd like to. There's so many different types of templates, and I just showed one of them as an example. But if you have Creator Plus has its own templates as well. But with that one that I showed today, that one's included with Brightspace, whether you have Creator Plus or not. So, Heather shared that a colleague had a lot of students engage when she posted favorite holiday recipes on the homepage. I feel like, Heather, I need to be in that course as well, just so I can see those holiday recipes. They sound like I'm already ready for dinner myself, so. Devika mentioned that she'd like to preview templates before adding them, and I can go ahead and just show what that looks like real fast since I am still in our content area and sharing the screen. But when you go to create a new page, and another D2Ler here, if you guys have a better way of doing this, please let me know. But when I go to review a template, I just go and I click the template and I see what it looks like. Oh, well, this one doesn't quite have a lot in there for me. So let me go and pick a different one. So I'll select template. Let's try an intro one and replace it. All right, here we have a very large picture, of course, title. Okay. They recommend pixel sizes for images and text. And then you can go through and pick and choose kind of which types of templates you want. Here's an image template. And it gives you some best practices on how to replace the images and insert new ones and such. How to left align images. I know that alignment is one of the things I struggle with the most. So this template's definitely helpful. Angela shared that they have a school-wide course called the Student Hub. In that, they have a holiday event where students click on different icons in a Google slide each day, like an advent calendar. And it has videos that each teacher made with games, activities, crafts. Oh, I love that. It's, I always love those kind of escape room style things you can do, or like a choose your own adventure. I made a pretty basic one with a checklist, but there's a lot you can do with release conditions and all of that within Brightspace too to kind of gamify their activities and such, their content. See, having students take photos and use the portfolio tool has been successful for Amy. And that's one of the reasons, Amy, why in the content area, I suggested at the end for the activity, I wanted students to share whichever activity they did for their holidays to their portfolio. I do want to check with my team. I see Sally had a question about accessing awards. Would somebody be able to let me know, was that already answered? Or I see she had asked a couple questions, so I can show that live if needed. Renata.
Hi, Victoria. Just it was regarding adding the awards widget to the homepage. It looked like um, Sally was not able to see the awards widget in order to select it to add to her homepage. Um, so, like you had mentioned before, the awards widget is available to everyone. It's not an add-on. Um, However, there is the chance that the awards tool might be turned off in the environment and therefore wouldn't be accessible there. So I'm just wondering if that might be why Sally isn't able to see it.
That is definitely a possibility, Sally. And so for some folks, if it's not already in your nav bar, one thing that you can do if you have access to the course admin tool is to click course admin. And you can also go to all of those different tools and such through here. So you'll see that I have my awards here, my checklists, my grades, so on and so forth. So these things don't necessarily need to be in your nav bar for you to be able to access them. And it's the same way for students. Students don't necessarily, if you can still give them awards without having the awards up in the navigation bar. However, if you'd like them to be able to access awards without the awards widget, they would need that access in the nav bar. If for some reason you're not seeing it in your course admin area, what you would have to do is contact your LMS administrator at your school and see if it's something that they have turned off and might be able to add to your class. Perfect. And I see Whitney answered a question. Somebody had asked if there were games included in Brightspace. And she said you can gamify that experience using awards, release conditions, checklists, and such. And the checklist can also be used to release content when students complete certain tasks. Creator Plus can also be used to create flip cards and sorting games and such as well. So that's a great opportunity to just get students a lot more engaged in the platform. And we have about 5 more minutes left. So if you'd like to keep sharing your discussion questions or answers, how you've incorporated holidays into the chat, you're more than welcome to. But I'd also like to give folks the opportunity just to ask any more questions that they have. But before anybody else goes off mute to do so, I just wanted to remind folks that the recording and the slide decks will be posted in Brightspace community. There are also resource slides at the end of this deck that will give you additional information on everything that we've showed you in the demo today. So if you have more questions about awards, the activity feed, these widgets, and so on and so forth, you can check out those resources at the end, and those are all links with more information or videos as well. And if there's something that you saw today that you want to learn more about, we encourage you to reach out to your Brightspace administrator or your LMS administrator at your district, or search the resources within Brightspace community. But for now, we do have time for additional questions. So if anybody would like to come off mute, or if there's anything else that I need to show in the platform, please, you can do so now and let me know.